Firstly, I do not view myself as a pickup artist. I think that the pickup arts enriches our life. It doesn't define it. And I have a strong identity, one that I project, one that I convey when I'm in field, and that is of an illusionist. That does not mean that you are each going to have to create an identity of an illusionist. You do not have to perform magic. In other words, the mystery method without mystery is still a great method. You don't have to actually convey, say a story. For instance, one of the stories that I'll tell during my grounding sequence, I'll tell you all about what grounding is later on, most likely day 3. I talk about how the first magic show I ever did was when I was 17 years old and I shit a brick. I was so nervous, and it was for $50 for a little birthday party magic show. Does that mean that you are going to tell a little story about when you were a magician? Of course not. So the mystery, mystery can be taken out of the method. By the end of these 3 days, I'm hoping that you will each have a unique identity. It's a deep question. Who am I? Such a deep question. And I'm really concerned far less with who you really are, as I am with who am I going to say I am? How am I going to project an image that is, systematically project an image in a very short amount of time? Now, 2/3, or more than 2/3, I'd say 90% of the time spent in courtship with a woman will be in building comfort with her. It's all comfort building. And we do go kino on her. Kino means touch. Kino, kinesthetic, short name for it, kino. And there's something called kino escalation, where you are going to escalate your kino with the woman. But a lot of people do this wrong. You see, they do it without taking into account the woman's comfort levels. So imagine if each step of kino escalation had a way of calibrating to find out what her comfort levels are and to react to it. There's about a dozen different steps. If you could, over the course of, it's around 6 hours, build enough comfort, on average, for most women, and you have a nice kino escalation, you won't have to worry about having the let's just be friends thing happen on you. You won't have to accidentally become her girlfriend, because what a lot of guys do is when they first meet, they have no kino and they build a friendship, and next thing you know, hours and hours and hours accumulatively, if you were billing by the minute, accumulate, and they all add up to, you're 20 hours in and still you haven't kissed her. And of course, going for the kiss all of a sudden will feel very, very almost improper, because you haven't touched her that whole time. So finally the kiss is like this big thing. That's going about it the wrong way. When you have proper kino escalation, you'll actually escalate kino. About 2 minutes in, you'll start touching. But it's designed in such a way that if she feels uncomfortable, you'll know it. You can throw the hands off, do a little back turn. All right, you're losing me. And by doing that, she will feel the loss and will need to redeem herself and start chasing you. My whirlpool story. Where did kino escalation come from? I had a girl in a whirlpool. I got in, waited for her to come, and she came in her bikini. I'm like, oh my god, she's fucking hot. She came and sat down across from me. I was hoping she'd sit next to me, but she sat across from me. And I felt compelled to somehow, and in talking, come over and sit closer to her. Well, she then swam across, a minute later, she swam across to the other side. I felt, again, compelled to come over and get close to her. Once again, she swam over to the other side, and I felt, fuck. I just want to get close to this girl. It was a feeling, a need. She then gets up and goes into the pool and swims away into the cold pool, right? And I'm like, I'm in a whirlpool by myself now, and she's having fun, swimming, on her back, swimming in the pool 50 feet away from me now. And I'm like, God damn it. So I get up and I go into the pool, and I'm swimming in the pool now, right? So I end up getting, swimming close to her, and I'm up against the wall, the far wall, away from the whirlpool. I'm there, and she comes up close, and I end up grabbing her and pulling her close to me, right? And we talk close like that for about 30 seconds or so, and then she says, okay, get off me, and pushes away, so she floats away. And she floats backwards, just floating away, about 20 feet away, and I'm like, fuck.
So I end up, swimming closer towards her. What does she do? She gets out and goes back in the whirlpool and is in the whirlpool by herself. I'm all by myself in the fucking pool now. And like a tool, what do? Well, I swim over there, I hop in, I get back in the whirlpool. I was following her. She kept taking away. Now I do that. That's kino escalation. Make sense? We have to do it. You have to install this kino escalation concept into every single Sarge. C1, C2, C3, wherever. I like having them sit next to me, right? I'll take their hand, put it on my knee, let go. I put their hand on my knee and I let go, because I look cooler that way. If they pull their hand away, fine, I shut up. And they get negative body language for a little bit. Then, of course, if they reinitiate the chat, I'll be like, in your hand? And I continue again. It's so obvious, and it's a fun game, and it works. This has been evolved out of the game, So all these things you have to have the guts to do. There's hand-holding. Right? Arm in arm. What else did you see me do? Sit on lap. And that could be the TV test. Okay. Hand holding could be the TV, the kino test. Can allow you to do that. We can also say just holding. Right? Holding. How about embrace? Like I did with that girl. Right? Smelling. You smell so fucking good. Or you smell so familiar. Isn't that a good one? I'm so pleased with that. I'm going to use that tonight. You smell so familiar. Oh, that's almost too smooth. Smelling. Biting. Biting here. This is Styles Evolution Phase Shift, where you can read it online. It's not my routine, it's his. It's on the lounge. And basically the way it goes is you say to the girl, you notice how the outside of all your joints are really have very few nerves, but the insides have are very tender and have lots of nerves. Like the outside here, you can grab here, and it's very hard. But back here, it's really tender, and you touch her here. It's really tender. And out here, see how it's like really tough skin, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. So you're doing a little neg on her. But here, it's just so tender. It's so tender and soft, and the best thing, you know what I love? Fuck it, here. I love this. And you then take your mouth and put it right here on her, and you suck on it. And you can do that in public. You can go, get away with it and go, fuck it, come here. I fucking love that. Alright, get off me. Isn't that nice? So, that I guess we'd call that biting. You could also say to the girl, bite my neck. Right here, and if she does, and you go, oh, fuck, come here, and you bite her. Or you could say, no, you did it all wrong, come here, like this, and bite her neck. Try it again. Hair pulling. You can do this in the club too. You can say, you can thank your ancestors for this feeling. And they go, what do you mean? Well, little cats, little kittens, you can grab them by the scruff of the neck and paralyze. Well, feel this. Here, put your head down, feel this, and you scratch the back of her neck, grab a clump of her hair, the base of it, and then pull. I've had a girl do that to me, and I was like, fuck, it hurts. Don't yank, yeah. Just pull. As you go, isn't that fucking good? Do that to me? If you can. I don't know if not all of you can do it. Yeah, you have no problem with it. And they grab the back of your hair, or if you can't, because your hair's shorter, you can say, you want to hear one of the things I really miss about not having long hair anymore? Right? Feel this. Isn't that gorgeous? I wish you could do it to me, but you can't. Views. Or hair pulling. How about, here's a good one, tongue sucking. Where you say to the girl, I could have said to that girl yesterday, the one that I made out with, I could have said, come here, stick your tongue out. What? Just go like that. Stick your tongue out. Good girl. Suck on her tongue. do it in the club. And then, of course, that's pretty much all you'd want to do. Yeah, then you go, you know what? I'm so fucking attracted to you. Let's slow this down. Come on, let's rejoin our friends. Come on. Arm in arm. Hey, we like each other. You guys cool with that? Good. And then I shoot the shit with the friends, because I know I'm already in. All I got to do is build comfort and wait 6 hours. You know, babysitter for a little while. Tongue sucking. What else do we got? Kissing. Kissing. Good one. Frenching. Right? French kissing. Also known as making out. And that's pretty much it, because anything beyond that, if you start grabbing her breasts, that's foreplay, with the intent of arousal, sexual arousal. This is all comfort building. This is all to build comfort. Isn't that odd to think that making out can arouse you? There's no doubt. That's the one that's make or break. Where when kissing turns into foreplay, when you start really heavy-duty making out, you better calm it down. Okay? So you can kiss her. It's this connection feel. Okay, that's what you're trying to build. And when you start tonguing each other, you go, you know what, baby, we gotta slow this down. And you're the one saying slow it down. I mean, what a crack, you know, that just cracks me up. But if you're the one who does that, you know, she's gonna be encouraged to jump out of the pool, go into the whirlpool, come chase you. Alright? So, okay, that's off the top of my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Frenching, that's 10 right there off the top of my head. Now, there's no, and we can go further, of course, because kino escalation goes all the way to last minute resistance, to grabbing breasts, but you don't want to grab it, okay? You want to put your hand over it and keep moving, because if you grab it, she can tell you to stop. But if you just go over it, with intent, you know, I can look at her breasts and I can, you know, grab her neck and rub my hands over her breasts, you know, and then say, okay, we better slow this down, come on. You can do that. You can do that in field. What else do I want to talk about? Seduction tactics, as this escalates to last minute resistance stuff, that's all seduction. We're going to deal with seduction tomorrow, okay? I'm going to devote some time to it, in fact. But you get the main idea of what constitutes comfort escalation, okay, or kino escalation. Every single step she has to feel comfortable doing with you. If she's uncomfortable, you shut it off. And you wait for her to bring back something into the conversation. You're going to do one of two things. You'll either shut up completely and wait for her to reinitiate the chat, but what if she doesn't? Then you'll reinitiate the chat, but it won't be kino escalation. It'll just be the next story. Ever been to the Hollywood sign? You think, you're off to your next routine. So now let's get to, now that you get an idea of this, notice which ones exist. Every single one of these is a tactic, a specific routine. Like kissing, we've got the tic-tac routine. Remember that one? Tic-tac routine. In fact, I was ready to use the tic-tac routine on the little black girl, and because I went for the kiss, and I was playing incorrectly for a workshop. That's how I feel. Let's being honest. So I took my Tic Tacs. I couldn't find them. I was looking all over for them because I had many things in my pocket. Stupid. So I took them up, put them in an empty pocket, so I'm ready to go. So I can go and do the Tic Tac thing. It's so subtle and it works so well. Tic Tac routine for kissing. Hair pulling is a routine. You can thank your ancestors for this. What do you mean? Well, your brain is a magnificent machine and it's designed by millions of generations of success stories. Your emotional circuitry is almost fucking perfect. The ancestor you had that got too close to the edge of the cliff and didn't feel fear and jumped off, well, guess what? He's not a part of your ancestor, is he? He's dead. Only the people who were afraid for good reason are the ones that are still alive. And therefore, when you feel fear for heights, don't think you're crazy. Some people think they're crazy for the emotions they feel, and yet the emotions were given to them by their ancestors. You are the reason your ancestors ever existed at all. You should thank them for your emotions. Instead of looking outward for the signs of what you should do best to further your life and do the right things in life, you should look inward and trust your instincts. Trust your emotions. Like, for instance, how do you know you're attracted to a man? And then I'm off into my next routine, by the way. I'll even give that routine is a part of evolution phase shift. You know, when Style bites here, right? Style and I have been putting more pieces into this routine. It's turned into like a 10-minute routine. It's called evolution phase shift. Now, the responsibility of education lies in the student, not the teacher. We don't have time to go into the evolution phase shift routine because it's quite advanced. When you're ready for it, it's your responsibility to find it in the lounge. Okay? All you got to do is read it. It's just there. And then incorporate it into your game. You get a vibe for how I roll, how I work. You saw it on the video clip. The pacing, the timing, the moves necessary. Evolution phase shift is the same thing, where you get to talk to her about the brain being a magnificent machine, talking about her emotions. I then go on and I say to her, shut your brain off. Trust your instincts. Trust your emotions. Sometimes all you have to do is shut the fuck up. For instance, feel this. Here, come close. Good girl. Okay, bend your head towards me. Good. Now feel this. You can thank your ancestors for this feeling. Oh, isn't that fucking gorgeous? I love that. Do that to me. God damn it. You know I'm going to bite you. Not hard, but I am going to bite you. No, not now. You won't know when. And the next thing you're going to smell you're going, I'm trying so hard not to kiss you right now. God damn it. Okay, enough of that. Where were we? Oh yeah, Hollywood sign. Okay, get this. My friend and I, we went to the Hollywood sign. We had to jump over this fence. Oh, we're climbing up the top of the hill. So I'm off into my next routine. See how that works? That's how I'd love to see you guys stitching this together. Alright? When you're not doing one of these, you're being normal. Then you make a move, then you take it away, push it away, and continue a normal routine. Look at these ones. This is what you have to do. Specifically, these ones. Not necessarily in this order, okay? Because there is no particular order. That's why I say, between 8 and 12 moves. Some of these moves, you don't have to do biting. You can go from smelling to hair pulling. You know what I mean? So these are the main moves. But there's only so many things you can do to kino escalate, right? This is pretty much it.
So the organizing principle.
Back in your hands. And if they don't give it, right? How's this? If they give it, but it's real tense, I can just say, never mind. And then go, fuck it. Okay, come here. Try again. It'll be better the second time. Now, we need some guises in case it really is uncomfortable for them. They put their hands up like this. That's an IOD, indicator of disinterest. If they put their hands up like this, and I lower my hands, and they just lower their hands with you, that's good. That's an IOI, right? Not only is that a kino escalation on my part, it's also a kino test. So now I'm giving her an indicator of interest, right? By doing this, is she receiving the IOI? Is this do I get a positive response to this kino test? That's kino escalation.
What do you say?
Nothing. I don't talk about it. Yeah, you just take your hands lower as you're talking about something else in the middle of a conversation. But, I could hold my hand out and say, have you ever seen the movie Poltergeist? You think it's based on reality or fiction? I don't mean Caroline's stuck in the TV. You see? I'm talking about something totally different while I'm doing the kino escalation. Now, in workshops, I would teach kino escalation in set. In other words, I'd assume I'm going to blow up the set and wreck it by saying, hey, student, come over here, check this out. Okay, by holding her, give me your hands for a sec. And she gives the hands. Notice that by lowering her hands, I can tell whether she's, where her interest level lies. And I could talk about it in front of the student, thinking to myself I'd blow myself out of set. Well, it turned out I would never blow myself into set because it was interesting. Even though I'm talking about it, teaching somebody about it, yes. The woman would be interested nonetheless. So that became the the keynote, what do they call it? The trust test. It became the trust test. Personally, the silent keynote test is far superior. But the trust test is pretty cool because you get to talk about it, and it works as well. So it's your choice. It's just a little modification of the same thing.
What point do you ask for your hands?
I want kino in the first minute and a half.
So
In fact, I'll hold my hand out like this even, just to see what they do. Because if they, just what does he want? Put the hand in, and then I can start lowering. Yeah, it's in A2. I have to see. I have to get IOIs in A2, right? Before I move on to A3. So I have to test for these IOIs. So that's why I do it in A2.
an IOI because you know you
when someone next you, they touch you and you say hands off, hands off. What if they touch you again? You don't keep going hands off, hands off. Let them. They touch you, okay, you're used to it. Don't make it too much of a big deal. Don't go hands off, man. I said hands fucking off. You know? The idea is you want her to put the hands on, right? And you want to pretend like it's no biggie. But at first you want to use this as your opportunity to show her that, hey, you need to win me over. Sometimes if I can't get some sort of hand holding, because she's sitting next to me, right? I don't have to turn and hold her hands. I'll just take her arm. I didn't do hand holding with the blonde. My first move was arm in arm. You know, Savoy went with her friend and asked me to run interference. That's why I was working the blonde. You know, he wanted to run off with this girl. So as he ran off with this girl, I just went next to her and I went good. And I kept my hand on top because I knew it was going to pull away. I felt it. And I just kept it on top. Got her used to me for a little bit. Yeah, you have to get her body used to you. You know, and that's all you get. Don't get any ideas.
And that keeps it there.
Yeah. Exactly. So, all right. So there you have that. Kilo escalation. I'd like to see some of that tonight.
You do arm in arm. Is that something you should be doing when you're moving with her?
No, I don't like arm in arm when you're moving. I like having two girls arm in arm when I'm moving. You know, it's like, come on, let's show me. Good. You know, there are so many women in this room that are jealous of you two right now. And that's my little one-liner piece that I use when I am running the rail. You know, the rail is when you just got to walk 20 feet with two girls in your arm. You know, hey, let's find my friends. I can't find my friends. Oh, well, we'll find them later. Right? But during those 20 feet that you walked with the rail, I'd love to see some of you guys running the rail tonight with two beautiful girls in your arm as you're walking around. And as you do, you can eyeball every woman at that point, okay? Eyeball every guy. Sup. Okay? Yeah. These girls do not care very much about your looks. They think they do. Logically, they think they do. But in response, the way what the woman says and how she behaves are two very different things. 80% of her S&R value judging circuits are weighted towards survival. For us, it's weighted 80% for replication, and that's why hip-to-waist ratio, breast size, shape, symmetry, facial symmetry, youth indicators, health indicators, you know, all those things play so hardcore for our judging. And in a way, I feel bad for some girls because, you know, they have either lower value or higher value. You know, we look at them and we wonder, why are they talking about hair so much? You know, they talk about hair and shoes. And we think, Jesus Christ, man, girls talking about hair again. You know how important hair is from a girl's perspective? Think of cutting a girl's hair short and see if you're going to like her as much as when her hair's long, because it's a health indicator. It's a hardwired health indicator. Women know it because they've had short hair, they've had long hair, they realize, Jesus, when I have long hair I get more attention. When I have short hair, not so much. You see? So, for a woman judging a man, it's going to be mainly survival value. Survival value is shown by showing that we have some replication value as well for a woman, okay? And it comes in the form of showing that we're pre-selected by other women. So if we're pre-selected by other women, we take care of that, and then we have to show we're the leader of men. Who am I with? So you got to be really careful with who you're going to be hanging out with, because the value of the other people can bring you down. Now, when I go out with Neil Strauss, no one knows him. He's just a little guy until I accomplish and enter him. So that's why wingmanship rules are really important. Hang out with cool people. Hang out with girls. You know, Jack Osborne. The kid from the Osbournes. Right? Jack Osborne. Well, he gets in clubs now, and he rolls. You know, I see him out in clubs in LA all the time. I've met him on a couple of occasions, and he rolls with 5 girls at a time. He doesn't go with any guys, just him, 5 girls. He rolls in, and it's different girls. He just doesn't care. Just get 5 girls with him, and in he goes. And sometimes his sister's with him, in which case then there's a real hoopla because his sister somehow gets way more fame, right? And she loves to doll herself up, and she also has to have a bodyguard. He doesn't need one, but she needs one, right? So the way she rolls is even bigger. You know, I met was in the same room as Christina Aguilera. I tried to meet her, but she had 2 bodyguards. Couldn't fucking get past the bodyguards. The only way to meet Christina Aguilera is if you have bodyguards, and your bodyguards will meet her bodyguards. So if you want to meet Christina Aguilera, you're going to have to take 2 really big black guys. Okay? But this, my point is, who am I with? It's all a part of it. Okay? And this is the game that we can play. One time, I had a photographer with me, taking photos of me. People are like, they go up to him, and it was Playboy LA. Playboy New York City now. He had this big, beautiful $1,100 camera, the big Canon one, and he was taking photos of me. So people would come up to him and say, who is he? Oh, that's Mr. And it was social proof of the room. And here I am getting pictures taken with me. Next thing you know, all it takes is me to open up the set and get one girl talking to me, arm in arm. And I'm like, all right, here's the arm, good. Drummer in here, good. And I just control the set, and this guy's taking photos of me. And people, when I'm in set, they would turn and go, why is he taking photos of me? Kind of like what happened on day 1. Like, why do you have a microphone? But that's too spooky for them. Video and microphone is spooky. Having a photographer isn't spooky to them. That's a positive thing. It's who am I with? When I rolled with, I was in Las Vegas, and I met this Asian 10. Beautiful body. You'll see a little video clip in Mysteries Lounge at some point. I brought her up to VIP section, and as I brought her up, Jenny McCarthy's husband lets me, hey man, hey, what's up? Come on in to the VIP section, and I just had to say, that's Jenny McCarthy's husband. That made me valued, because he's like, hey man, come in, right? As I come in, who's sitting there? Courtney Love, her guitarist, Neil Strauss, and Jenny Jameson. And I come in and, hey, what's up? Give high fives to everybody, what's up? And grab a seat, I'm part of it. Next thing you know, this girl just thinks I'm a fucking 11. Like, she's like, who's this guy? Sitting on my lap, and within 3 minutes, I'm making out with a fucking 10. It was incredible. I ended up getting her back to Neil's hotel room for about 2.5 hours in, which is too soon. So we played, but nothing more. It was too soon. I ended up, long story short, staying at her place for 5 days a few weeks later. So who you hang out with is very important. Very important. Your photo routine will convey that. Who you hang out with, really, it'll happen. One more concept here. When you approach a girl by herself, that's one level of the game. Next is when you approach groups, like a 3-set, that's the next level. So you're not doing singles, you're doing groups. Then the next level of game is where you're merging groups, what I call advanced group tactics, where you're going from one group and then merging forward. You're mixing the groups together. I didn't see anybody last night, mixing groups. I would love to see mixing groups where you meet someone and say, come on, let me introduce you to my friends. Even if it's just one of us. Okay? Because, Nick was, in the club, and I was with my girl, and I had isolated her away from the boyfriend, right? And I took her aside, and we did a phone number exchange, and then he was walking by, and I said, hey, let me introduce you to my friend, this is Nick, right? Afterwards, he said, why were you doing this? I'm like, just to show that I have good friends. Just to merge forward, have a little conversation going. Like Sal and I, we do it all the time, cross over that way, I'll talk to his chicks, he'll talk to mine. I'm not hitting on them, but I'll show that I'm a fucking cool guy. And the type of guy that would hang out with Neil would be a cool guy. It raises his value if I'm cool. So I go in and I play a really cool guy and then leave. And if you, especially when you're working with a wing, when you say, I'd like to introduce you, and you're doing an accomplishment intro, and he's a really good friend, he's an awesome guy, this guy's really smart, you should have seen his last girlfriend. It makes your value raise, because you're hanging with a cool guy who gets laid, Or what you could say about your wing, or have him say about you is, this guy gets laid like a rock star. Especially for you. And they'll just believe it, It's like, hey, I gotta introduce you, this is my really good buddy, gets laid like a rock star. Done. They'll believe it, and your value goes up through the roof. So some of these little indicators, they can see, some are demonstrated, some have to be seen through a photo routine, some have to be heard through a story, some have to even be heard by other people, because, Neil can't say, I'm rock ready for Rolling Stone magazine. See all the elements here? whatever it is that we're going to do for this creation of an identity, again, it doesn't have to be real, it just has to be something that we can convey that will assist you in getting girls. This is what we've got to solve, okay? When you roll in, you're going to deck out, however that means for you, whatever identity, you want to convey, because not only is the music the way you're going to express your personality, but it's going to be your identity visually, right? Not only, and this is true not only for a magician, not only for a musician, but for everyone else as well. Okay, we need to package ourselves. I'm concerned far less with who you really think you are, and I'm more concerned with what are you going to say you're going to do, what are you going to wear tonight, so that you can help get the girl. I'm an illusionist. I can blow I can blow myself out with certain girls, but the neat thing is, let's say there's 5 girls, okay? If I go in generically, none of them will find me interesting. But if I go in specialty, 4 of them will say no, but 1 will say fucking super yes. And then it'll be on, and you'll get yourself a nice hot girl who really fucking loves you. Specializing is a good thing. I want you to look the part. If a woman comes up and says, hey, I love your goggles, I can say, no, you don't, you're attracted to me. If she says, I hate your goggles, no, you don't, you're attracted to me. You wouldn't have come up and mentioned it if you thought otherwise. That's all I have to say every time, Of course, some people will screw with me, and I'm like, why are you wearing your goggles? If it's a guy, I'm like, well, in case you spit. That way, when you bore me to tears, my tears won't run all over my face. I just keep them like that. Or when I'm running away from you. I won't get those white marks here and here. That's a little story thing. So anyway, you get the idea of avatar. Let's move on. So when people ask me what do I do, I'll say, I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to show you something really cool. It's related. I'll tell you why in a moment. This is something I've been thinking about. I thought it's really curious. And then I do 3.14159. And they go, what are you, a mathematician or something? I'm like, no, don't you get it? Destiny. Everything happens for a reason, and it serves us. Have you ever heard of Nostradamus? Okay, get this. This guy was around in the 1650s. And now I can start talking about Nostradamus for 5 minutes, and the next thing you know, I'm off into showing them that I've got fucking ESP, and I can predict the future, and all this sort of nonsense. and they get drawn in. And then I say, well, I actually do, they go, wow, man, you're amazing. What do you do? No, I actually do stage shows. I show people, that the laws of physics are really amazing. Illusion or not, magic is real. So I got all my sound bites all together for all this, right? I can reveal to them who I am, and I'm doing it really soon. You have to do it really soon. They should know your identity, or at least a taste of your identity, I believe in the first minute and a half to 3 minutes. Every single set ultimately should know who you are. A man can pull out $100, flip it, and put it into his other pocket. Another man can say he's a marketer. The woman is going to go for the guy who has $100 over the guy who says he's a fucking marketer. Because marketer means money, okay? And the $100 means I take care of myself. It's physical reality, and symbols are much stronger than actual things. I could put a gold card out, sure, that's fine, or I can have a wad of cash with a money clip in the shape of money. In shape of, the money symbol. That is going to be more responsive. It's a way of conveying confidence in conveying certain aspects of my personality, that I'm playful, just by my clothing alone. And I tell you, it really assists in opening. Now, it won't make or break. Peacock theory is what we call this. It won't make or break it. You're not going to get laid because you're dressing funny. But what it will do is it'll allow them to initiate the chat with you. In fact, I think every person should wear at least one interesting item. Well, this is interesting enough. All women are always touching this. Guys are always going, is that like a carpet? So they fuck with you. And then, of course, you can go with it. Instead of fighting them, you're basically going to have something better to say. Because I mean, it's my code. I know the answers to everyone's little jokes. I've been socialized. I know answers to them all. Actually, this is from my great grandmother's couch. She's really pissed. She's sleeping on a spring right now. So you have something better to say, and you just go with it, and you're playful. But by doing that, I've now been able to demonstrate my personality in front of that girl who's just shutting up and watching. So all those guys that are coming up and, hey man, can I touch it? Dude, man, I don't know where your hands have been. Chill, man. Holy shit. You know, K-Card's over there. You know? These are black nails, not pink, okay? Back off, Cecil. And there I'm able to convey that I've got alpha male characteristics. It's a demonstration right in front of the girl. And that's what this stuff allows you to do. Also, the very fact that you're wearing this somehow just triggers attraction in women because they know that you're going to be fucked with from other guys. And that's peacock theory. You know, if you have this big, long, cumbersome tail, and yet you're still healthy and can still live, well then you must be the best. So if you can go through the world, this was just a taste. I mean, I go all out. I go crazier and crazier more and more nowadays. You also want to wear chick bait. One interesting item, just something. None of you have it. An interesting item. Like, here's an example that I thought was quite funny. You know that blonde girl that you said, don't do it?
Yeah.
Right? Well, she knew that I was a pickup artist. You told her. And I could feel the tension from that. Where they're like, one of them said, oh, you're wearing that in order to get people to talk about it? Right, conversation starter. And I already said to her, you know, you've already pigeonholed me, something like that. You've pigeonholed me a certain way based on what you've been told. And yet, curiously, she still stayed. I did hand-holding stuff. We were finger-holding, finger and finger. It stayed. It was on. When they were about to leave, right, I said it was nice meeting you. And she wouldn't leave. She was there for like 20 seconds more, and it was just, she is hoping I'll continue this. That's why I pulled her aside and I said, I'm going to talk to your friend for about 2 minutes, and then you can have her back. And grabbed her by the hand. Hand was on, pulled her aside, and she just came right away. You know, even though she knew I was a pickup artist. The very fact, see, this was so funny about this. You tell a girl that I'm a pickup artist, they'll put the defenses up. I throw negs, they feel like I'm not hitting on them. So they try to win me over. Ta-da! I want to create, you know, an image of the way I see her so she can fill the role. I'll say, you know, what the hell are you doing in this club? You are way too classy to be in this club. You're very classy. I can tell you're the leader of your group. I like that. The reason why I want to throw those in is because what if a takeaway girl comes along to go take her away? Who's the leader is all I have to say. She wants to fill the role, so she'll stay. I also want her to be classy so that she doesn't start playing stupid game, you know? Just saying the word classy, you're very classy. I like that about you. Anyway, instead of fighting against her this way, what if you were to instead, check this out, instead of going against her, she believes in God and you don't, or you believe in God and she doesn't, instead, just go along with her for now, okay? Because all you have to do is slowly turn over the course of 2 weeks, and she will have to turn with you. It is easier to turn a person's beliefs another way, this way, than to smash into it, right? Isn't it easier to have a woman listen to what you have to say if she's your girlfriend and you're fucking her? So you're on the same side of the fence looking at the universe and questioning reality, rather than on opposite sides and you're fighting her. You don't want to get in an argument with a girl that you haven't had sex with yet, because you're not going to have sex with her, nor will you have the opportunity to debate and change her views if you want her views to be changed, if you believe yours are right and hers are wrong. Right? I had a, now again, I'm not out to change anybody's beliefs. I don't know what your beliefs are when it comes to religion and all this stuff. If you take an MP3 file, it's like 40 meg, okay? Let's just say it's this big is the song. Using mathematics, you can shrink it down to only 10%. Now, you may not think that's so amazing, but the rest of the fucking world does, okay? Because MP3s are the shit. Now, that's called lossy compression, where you actually lose information, but what's fascinating is our brain can't hear certain sounds. For instance, let's say there's 3 sounds, you know, there's an oboe and a loud voice and something else. The loudest sound gets heard, but the other two don't get heard. So what MP3 technology does is it removes these two and says, fuck you to the music industry. Compresses it down. That's just one example of using, mathematics. You just remove the weakest sounds. Keep the loudest ones, because the brain doesn't hear the difference anyway. Isn't that brilliant? The guy who came up with that, fucking millionaire. And now the entire music industry has gone tits up because of it. Well, that's called lossy. Well, there's something else called lossless compression, where you can compress information down, where when you decompress it, there's no loss of information. Then there's also encryption, where you can take the information, you can shrink it down, but you can also put a weird code into it, so that no one can read what it is. They don't know whether it's music, whether it's audio, whether it's audio or video, whether it's text file. They have no clue what it is, because it is so mishmashed. But the guy on the other end can decrypt it with a code and read it. But these kids are always coming up with ways to get in, and then they're selling it. Isn't that amazing? But this is happening right now, and I'm in the midst of this. I feel like I'm this uber hacker trying to stay one step ahead of these guys, and I feel like a crook, just like them, because I got to figure out ways to cheat the systems. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not sitting in a, I just want to paint a picture for you. I'm not sitting in some big room with electronics all around me or anything, man. I'm sitting on my fucking leather couch with the cutest little laptop. It's this big. No wires, nothing. And I'm working from there. And that's all I got to do. And I only have to work 3-4 hours a day.
I used to go to the coffee shop and take my laptop.
Yeah. Nice. But isn't it, so you can already start painting a picture of who you are, making it interesting, leading her into what's fascinating about computers, without getting into the details of it, because their eyes will roll in the back of their head. And in fact, you don't want to say the word computer. Don't say programmer. These are scary, stereotypical words. Encryptor's kind of neat, to say that I keep people out of the pie. They go, what? Well, here's the pie. Pi, 3.14159. See how there's a pattern? I keep people out of the pie. I keep them from knowing what the pattern is. Really, what do you mean? And you start leading into it. You see? The question begs another question, and makes them start asking, I don't get it, wait a second, what are you saying here? And then you can add in, what Chris does, he adds in a couple magic tricks to explain his point. And they're like, oh my God, that is fascinating. Well, you could even do the 3 and 7. Like, for instance, there's patterns everywhere. Think of the number from 1 to 4. First number that pops in your head. You got it? Okay. Obviously, there's no way for me to get that information out of your head. Right? But what if there were certain patterns in nature that I could be aware of? 3. Yeah? See? There are patterns in nature, and you can recognize these patterns over time. And I have to stay one step ahead. So basically what he does, he makes it less computer jargon and more nature jargon. Because computers are ultimately nature. Math is nature. Code is nature. I can go one step further. I'll tell you one more story. A human being, you are not your material. Just like Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again is not the CD. It's the same song, whether it's in CD form, whether it's written in 1s and 0s on a piece of paper, whether it's on a hard drive in magnetic form, whether it's on a tape. It doesn't matter what the medium is, the media in which it is stored. The song is not the media. The song is the information, the actual coding. The media is needed to store the information. Otherwise, because no media, you can't store it, right? Or it could even be sound waves. Hell, it could be light waves. Shoot it out. Oops, I did it again out on a laser beam. And there it is, shooting out this laser beam, 1s and 0s, right, ons and offs, shooting out into space, and oops, I did it again is going off into space. Radio waves, they're still going out. Oops, I did it again came out, 99 or something? So that's been, 6 years. 6 years. That's 6 light years away. This information is leaving the Earth. It's already 6 light years away. Well, here's what I find fascinating. You are not your matter. You are the pattern of the way the matter is put together. In other words, the media is the matter. But if I take all this matter and I put it up in a blender and put it out, that's no longer you. Okay? You, your soul, your spirit, who you are, your identity, is the way you're put together. And we know that for a fact because every 7 years all this material leaves, you know, and as you shed your skin, you get new skin 7 years from now. Hey man, your hair grows, all the water is no longer, you know, in you, even a week later. You are renewed, and yet you're still you. So it's not the media, but the pattern that makes you who you are. In other words, what I'm trying to say to you is, you are a song. Now, if only I could come up with a way of MP3ing you. I'll work it out. And so that's another one of the little pieces. It fucks with your head, you know? Bullshit baffles brains, friend. How could I compress you as a song? Girls love this shit. Because it's like, wow, you know? You know? You are a song. And that story I start with, you know what I've been thinking about today? You are a song. What? Okay, figure this out. And then you go off into the story. Use it as an opener today. Within context of being a programmer, being an encryptor, he can throw that piece in, and he becomes nature-oriented. You know, where he says math is nature. It's understanding and recognizing patterns in nature. That's all it is.
Girls have this issue that guys don't have, where it's really important to them not to look like a slut, not to feel like a slut, not to have their friends think they're a slut. Something we don't even care, like it doesn't even occur to us, but to them it's this crucially important thing. And so if she goes out to the bar and her friends see her kissing some new guy that she just met or whatever, it'll give her this, oh no, they're going to think I'm a slut feeling. You guys have probably never felt that feeling. Like, you don't care if your friends see you kiss some new girl. You just don't care at all. But for her, it's a strong feeling of avoidance that she wants to avoid. I recommend going in for a lot of this stuff before you feel comfortable doing it. Like, don't wait for the perfect moment to try your kiss close, okay? Instead, just make yourself a rule that, okay, if I'm 10 minutes into any set, I'm going to go for the kiss, and I'm going to do it 1,000 times. 1,000 times is, what is that, 5 months? Assuming you do 4 nights a week, 12 sets a night. A lot of this stuff is calibration. You just get this intuition. After you're in the field for a long time, you just get this feeling. You know when you can go for the kiss. You know when it's not ready yet. You know when you can say this and when you shouldn't say that. You just get a real strong feel for it. Okay, how are you going to get that feeling if you don't just go out and try it? If you go out and just try to kiss, go into a set, at some point go for the kiss, go to the next set, at some point go for the kiss. If you do that 100 times, 500 times, 1,000 times, then what's going to happen is you're going to develop this feeling where you just know exactly when you can do it and when you can't. You will know. You'll get this feeling. You will not get that feeling if you don't go out and just do it. Just do it a bunch of times. That feeling's not going to come until after you do the work. So what you'll discover after you do it a bunch of times is it'll become clear to you that you can actually get away with it a lot sooner than you ever thought was possible. Makeouts are actually really easy. I would recommend that for the first 6 months or so, just go out and try and get as many makeouts as you can just so you can develop your calibration. And then at some point you're going to find out that making out is not solid game. Girls go out and make out with different guys all the time. All the time. It's fun for them. It's like no big deal. And it's funny for especially a guy who's new to the bar scene, he might see some girl and he's talking to her and things seem to be going pretty good. And wow, these things are going pretty good with this girl. 5 minutes later he sees her making out with some guy. And he doesn't get it. It's like, what the fuck? What happened? Did she not like me or whatever? It's because for her it's no big deal. She'll just make out with the guy. I've been talking to girls before, and the one I'm talking to, and her friends say, oh, we have to go now. And she'll look at me, and I'll say, oh, it's too bad you guys have to go. And she'll go, I'll make out with you if you want to. But okay, and I make out with her. I've done that on Broadway before. Yeah, at first you just want to be able to do it. Just go out and try it a bunch of times until you can consistently get makeouts. Okay? This is one of those things that does not get you laid, but it really impresses people who don't understand. Like, all your friends will be like, "Oh my God, did you see that? He made out with that chick." And the truth is, they don't know that you just fucked up your chances of having sex with her. But to them, it's all impressive, right? A2.
Why is it fuck up your chances of having sex with her?
What a good question. Okay, in order to have sex with a girl, you have to have attraction, which is A2. You have to have A3, which is qualification. You have to have comfort, and usually the comfort involves a bunch of venue changes and 7 hours together. Okay? But just to make out with a girl, you can do that within the first 5 or 10 minutes. It's really easy. It's amazingly easy. Try it 1,000 times. You know, pretty soon you'll have a good skill for it. You can go in and talk to a girl and basically pump up her emotions and get her all giggly, do a false disqualifier, go in for the kiss. And you can make out with her. Okay? The next day, she's not going to return your phone calls. You're just some guy that she talked to for 5 minutes and kissed on. She was drunk. It doesn't count. Okay? So what happens when the guy calls? "Hey, you want to get together, have some dinner?" She's going to think, "Well, I was already making out with him. I don't even know this guy. The next thing is sex." You know? She'll get this weird, uncomfortable feeling and she'll avoid it. At the time that she gives you her phone number, she may even think, "Oh, this guy's cool. I'd like to see him sometime. I'll give him my number." But the next day, she's not in that emotional state anymore. She's not feeling that anymore. She's feeling something different. And this guy calls her up, some guy she doesn't really even know, and he wants to hang out. She knows he just wants to have sex with her, but she doesn't feel comfortable with him. She doesn't feel a connection with him. She doesn't feel qualified by him. None of those elements are there. And so she happens to not return your call. Or she says, "Oh, can you call me back in 5 minutes?" And then she doesn't pick up the phone. You know? Or she just never picks up the phone in the first place because it's just some number. She gets all kinds of those. And then, you know, she never calls it back, and that's that. "Hey, we met at on Broadway last night." Beep. And that's that. There's too many other guys that are going to come along today and tomorrow that are fun and exciting and cool and that she has a good time with. Why is she going to go chase you down?
For instance, I will not give IOIs on a girl, on I3, until I've asked, "So how do you know each other?"
Right. Mm-hmm.
So then I would find out that's the boyfriend. Then I could say, "How long have you two known each other?"
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I ask is my girlfriend is a twin. She can finish the twin sister sentences. They believe because of ESP. I think it's because they know each other well enough. You know, they know each other so well. Do you two know each other well enough to finish each other's sentences? Do you believe in ESP? Do you think you have it? Okay, well, let's try an experiment, you and I. And I'll talk to the guy now. You hear what I'm saying? What's going on here is I'm finding out the information I need to know. If they are taken, I have an entire routine for ejecting out without looking like I was interrogating for the purpose of getting to know her. But what I like about that story is it's a way of me saying my girlfriend. As if I'm taken, you know, and that really disarms the color. So, how do you all know each other? We're married. How long have you been married? 5 years. Oh, the reason why I ask is my girlfriend is a twin. She thinks she can finish her twin sister's sentences because, you know, the twins, they think it's psychic. I think it's because they know each other so well. Now, you've been married 5 years. Do you know each other well enough to finish each other's sentences? Because the truth is, I can finish my girlfriend's sentences. I think that I have more of a connection with her than she does with her twin. Now, isn't that a nice way of just bullshit baffle braining them, you know? And I've done this in situations where I would befriend the guy, find out that the girl was with him, and then use her and say, "Can I borrow your wife for a bit? See that girl over there? I want to meet her, and your wife's going to help me." And I put the wife on my arm, we walk over there, and I get the girl. I shit you not, on the docks. You know, she's a hired gun. You can only work her a minute and a half. She's a bartender. She's going to get back to work. So long as you build the social proof in front of her, and you say, you know, I'm going to come and see you on a dead night. I just want you to know that I'm courting you. What night are you free? When's a dead? You know, when's a good night to come in and court you? Because it's a single step. Remember, you can do the direct approach on a single step. You just can't do it in a group. Why? Because if you do it in a group, you get caught blocked instantly. Yeah. But if you do it by yourself, she has to be polite. You know, and besides, hired guns have to be polite. Yeah. the waitress has to be polite. You have to say to her, "Oh my God, you're just so fucking polite," and I throw in the swear words, you know, just to show them that I'm like, for instance, as a guy who performs magic, you know, sometimes if I do it wrong, people will think, "Do you work here?" I don't fucking work here. You have to throw in the word "fuck" so people know you've just demonstrated that. You know, I'm not trying to be polite. So there's a method to swearing. I'll throw the swears into all guy set or most makes sense, so that they know I'm not gay. Because when you go in there, you got black males, and you're talking to guys. So you have to do throw in a couple dudes. Yo, dude, check this out, okay? Be more colloquialist. The question game is awesome. I love this game. It works like this. You and I were going to play the question game. There are rules to the question game. They come up as I go. Okay, rule 1. You can't ask the same question asked. Rule 2, we go back and forth. I ask one, you ask one, I ask one, you ask one. Rule 3, you have to let skeletons out of the closet and take advantage of the anonymity, so no boring questions. And rule 4, you go first. And they're like, "No, you go first." I'm like, "Okay, you're already breaking the rule. No more breaking rules." That's the 5th rule. Make them up as I go. How many boyfriends have you had? I always start with how many boyfriends have you had? And she'll then say, "How many girlfriends have you had?" I say, "You can't answer. And you can't ask that. It's the same question." "No, it's not." "Well, I'm not fucking gay." It's the same fucking question. "Oh my God, you must have done really good in tests in high school." Reframing like that. You know what reframing is, don't you? So, and you go back and forth. Okay, ask me a question. And if she asks me a boring question, I'll be like, "Jesus Christ, how many are my family?" It's boring. Anybody can find that out. Google me. Shit. Come on. Take advantage of her anonymity. Don't break a rule again. And she'll say, and she'd have a tough time. Now, the idea here is, I start with how many boyfriends have you had? And that will lead into a sexual conversational thread. When did you lose your virginity? Have you ever been with a girl? Have you ever gone down on a girl? When was the first time you, how old were you when you lost your virginity? Was it that one? Where's the weirdest location you've had sex besides your bum? Besides your what? Besides your bum. What's your favorite position? All the way leading to, would you like to kiss me? Or they say you could, just look like you had something in mind. Now, let me tell you, this question game leads all the way to Mystery's kiss tactic. Okay? You want to get to kissing the girl at some point, you don't just lean in and try to kiss her. You can say to her, well, here's it's a different routine, but so the question game leads to the kiss tactic, Mystery's kiss tactic. Here's what happens. Let's say the girl's having conversation with you, you're talking, you then shut up. Does she reinitiate the chat? If she does, that's an indicator of interest. So she'll say, "So, tell me about yourself." I'll say, "Shh, you talk a lot. Would you like to kiss me?" If she says yes, it's okay. If she says no, you say, "I didn't say you could, it just looked like you had something in your mind." That's the contingency. And you get away with that very nicely.
Okay,
If she says yes, you kiss her. No, you don't say, yeah, you say, "Would you like to kiss me?" Would you like to kiss me? Shh. Would you like to kiss me? If you don't do the shh part, believe it or not, it changes it. So weird, because we wrote it up and it wasn't working as well. Because what you should do is cut them off. They're in the middle of a conversation. By them talking to you, this is proof that they're interested, especially if you shut up and they've reinitiated the chat. Then you can go, "Shh, you talk a lot. Would you like to kiss me?" No, I didn't say you could, it just looked like you had something in your mind. You seem nervous. Keep talking. This is good shit. I'm telling you. This is the stuff. Hopefully I can show it to you in good time. But if she says, "I don't know," you say, "Come here, let's find that out." Not here. I understand. And you shut up. You don't invest anything into it, but you're punishing her. But then you simply say, "Give me your hand. Give me your hand." She puts her hand in. Where are we going? It's a special little place I like to call You'll See. And you take her to somewhere private, press her against the wall, and you make out with her. She gave you the information. Not here means yes, but not here. So I know she likes me, she wants to kiss me. So I just need to take her to the corner and make out with her. Don't finger her. Don't escalate too fast. Okay? It's an amateur who escalates too fast. Isn't that crazy? You think, hey, yeah, I'm a pro. Not you. Okay? Don't go to foreplay. So again, we've done the music game, the anything game, the question game. Question game's great. Suggestion for the question game, a little detail. Do not do it in a group. If you're in a 2-set and you do the question game, they're going to play against each other. Oh my god, I didn't know that about you. Oh my god. And you're fucking locked out. How do I know this? Only do it to a girl in isolation.